Hi, I'm Gareth Kane and welcome to Ask Gareth. The idea here, as always, is very simple. You ask me questions about corporate sustainability, corporate social responsibility or green business and I will do my best to answer them. The clue is in the name. And the question this time is another great one that comes from Jeanette Spalding of Positively Business. And Jeanette asks, Dear Gareth, most startups are fighting for survival in their first year, no matter what industry. What are the special challenges faced by startups in the sustainable space? What common mistakes should sustainable startups try to avoid in their first year of business? Well, Jeanette, I've hung out with a huge number of green entrepreneurs over the years, and the one thing that I would say that separates the successes from the failures is the successes don't whinge. They don't stand and give you the big litany of injustice they've felt at the hands of the government or local authorities or their customer base. They get on with it. Whereas the failures get stuck in that thing. They feel that somebody should be giving them special treatment because they're a sustainable business. And that is just not true. The customer is never wrong, and the market is what it is, and you have to work out how you're going to thrive in that reality. So I'd like to break that down into a couple of particular areas. The first one is you have to decide what your market actually is. If you're marketing at the sort of 1 in 6, 1 in 8 people who will compromise on price or performance to get a greener product that will make them feel good, and I'm thinking about the sort of person who buys lots of organic food in the supermarket or seeks out environmentally friendly products everywhere they go, then you can push the green benefit. But there's a limit to how far you can push price or performance compromises to get the planetary benefit, for want of a better word. So you've got to still work within a reasonable envelope of those things. If you're going for the wider market, whether it's consumers or business-to-business products and services or selling to the public sector, then you have to remember that they are not as interested in the sustainability benefit as much as all the other stuff. So sometimes you have to make sustainability the second or third button down the list. And you can even translate it for them into sort of more selfish benefits, such as, will it save you money? If you're selling something like a solvent-free paint, then the big benefit to the average punter is not the fact that it's not causing pollution, it's more the fact their room doesn't stink for weeks after they've done the painting. So you have to think very much about who you're marketing to or why. The second point is the product or service itself. And I'd like to illustrate this with some examples. This is a solar-powered bike light that my other half bought me a few years ago. And the concept's great. It's got a little solar power on top, some rechargeable batteries on the side, efficient LED lights on the front. And the idea is while it's sitting about, it trickle charges the batteries and you've always got the some charge there for the LED. Lovely idea, and it actually works perfectly, except the plastic wasn't very good and the batteries used to rattle about and the light would stop working, and when I put a little bit of paper inside to stop them rattling about, to make them work properly, eventually the plastic snapped and I couldn't use it. So it's a great idea, really let down by execution, and obviously I won't be buying another one of those. So what I'm getting at is you should be trying to do no compromises. If you can get all 3 Ps, performance, price and planet, then that's the real benefit. And Procter & Gamble did that when they produced Ariel Excel Gel. This will wash at 15 degrees centigrade, so almost cold water, which is actually the biggest impact on washing clothes, not the production of the materials or the treatment afterwards. It's in the heating of the water to actually wash the clothes. And it's been very highly ranked by Which magazine, amongst others, as a really good clothes washing product, and it's a competitive price. And they kept reformulating this until they got all 3 Ps right, and that's why it's a success as a green product. So don't forget to try and hit on all 3 Ps wherever possible. The third thing I'd like to talk about is more niche for certain businesses, and that's subsidies. My advice is don't be a subsidy junkie. Governments create subsidies in order to promote products and services, but most of them are time limited one way or another. They might say they're time limited, but most of them will be, and you should treat them as such. So take here in the UK, a few years ago we got feed-in tariffs, well after the end of the rest of Europe, we got them, but we ended up with a solar boom. A solar boom brought competition to the market, so prices fell, and even more solar panels came up. But the budget for that subsidy started to run out, so the government cut the subsidy. Huge outpouring of rage aimed at the government. But this is how subsidies are meant to work. They're meant to get you over that initial hump of sort of high cost, low reliability, and get you towards low cost and high reliability, and that's what they did. So the government was perfectly right to cut the subsidy. The question is by how much, and how much notice they gave, and all the rest of it. But if you base your business model on getting and continuing to receive a subsidy, then you're at real risk. The same goes for if it helps your customers meet a particular piece of legislation. Governments change, legislation changes, implementation of legislation changes. All these things can change very, very rapidly. By all means, take advantage of those things and look for the opportunity, but you have to have a plan B. You have to be thinking to yourself, what happens if all this goes away? Can we still survive? Okay, so those are 3 things that I think you should think about. But the triple bottom line here is a green business is not a charity. It's got to stand on its own 2 feet. Okay, Jeanette, I hope that answers your question. Everybody else, do you agree, disagree? Have you got any great examples? What do you think? Put your comments below the video here, and I will answer every single one. If there's anybody you think will benefit from my thoughts on this video, then please share it with those people. And if you want every future edition of Ask Gareth and a whole lot of other stuff for free besides, then go to www.terrainfirma.co.uk and sign up to the Low Carbon Agenda. That's my monthly newsletter, and it's full of all sorts of hints and tips. And lastly, don't forget, whether you're making small incremental improvements to the environmental performance of your organisation or facilitating massive step changes towards sustainability, it all counts. You're making the world a better place, and you should be proud of that. Till next time, goodbye.